Hello, good evening everybody and welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Chidiebere. In today's tutorial, this is a continuation of our project which we are currently working on. The project is called DriveFlex application, and so far we've been able to build our login and sign up page. We've built our splash screen, and we've also connected this sign up page to our Firebase authentication. So today we will be looking at how to submit data into FireStore. This user data that is being supplied here, we want to store it so that we can be able to show it or display it in the user profile, as well as use it in our app whenever we need it. So without wasting much of your time, I will go ahead and restart this so you see what it looks like when it starts. So this is our splash screen page which we have, and after the splash screen we have our sign up and login page. So this has been connected to our Firebase already. If you've not been following us so far, you can check out the previous tutorial on the ride sharing app Flutter application. So let's dive in. So the first thing we need to do is to click on FireStore database. So I've clicked it before. It takes me directly to this place. If this is your first time of opening it or clicking on it, click on create database and accept the default config. And when it asks whether you want to start in production mode or in test mode, please select test mode. This is so as to allow you, these are the rules it will set for you when you are in test mode. It will allow you to be able to read and write data, save and read what you saved in from your database. But if you add production mode, what it will do is that it will restrict reading and writing until you come over to this place and save your data or set your rules by yourself. So that's basically it. This is reading if the current timestamp is less than 8th of March 2022, then it should allow you read and write. That's 30 days from now. If not, then it shouldn't allow you to read or write from the database. So um, the first thing we'll do after our setup, you can go ahead and enable location and accept default configuration. The only thing you will change during creating database is to set it to test mode, select test mode. So the first thing we'll do here is to define a collection, which will be a collection is like a database. So we call it collection, and the document is it makes use of documents instead of table, rows, and column. So the first thing we define here is our users. So we define our users, and it requires an auto-generated ID. It can't. It requires one. So I just put fire store and leave the value empty. So it's going to create this for me. So this is how what we will be saving will be looking like. So in here, we have the collection, we have documents, and inside this document, we can also have a collection or we have field which we hold our data. And this collection will be a sub field for this particular document. We'll go into that in detail later on. For now, let's just focus on what we want to do. So the other thing which you need to do is to come over to this place. We want to add, okay, let me show you what I've done so far. So far, I have, let's say, let me put this, and the phone number, let me put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So in the email, we have a ed, let's use edge@g.com. Then for the password, let's put 1 2 3 4 5 6. So Firebase doesn't allow anything less than 6 characters for password, so it must be up to 6 characters. So let's quickly go to this place. I want to show you the authentication which we've implemented already. So let me delete all these users which I created earlier on. Delete all of them. So it's empty currently. So when I go back to my app and click on sign up, it tries to read from Firebase. And if you check here, you will see that it says user created successfully or successfully. Sorry about the typo. So it automatically takes you to your login page where you can easily click on login. Let's verify that as well. It says login successful. So let's see if our user has been created, user account. Awesome, our user account has been created, but then this is just an account. We want to save the user data to our FireStore database, which is this. So with this done, let's quickly go over to our app and start the implementation immediately. So I've already, on my pub spec, I've already imported Firebase Core, Firebase Auth, which I'm using for my authentication, and Firebase Cloud FireStore, which I'm currently using for the FireStore database. And I've clicked on pub get. And in here, I've also initialized my Firebase app uh, here in the main void main method. This is so as to be able to use the Firebase services. If you do not do this, you will get tons of errors when you try to run any Firebase services or call any Firebase services. So let's quickly do this. So you see it initializing. I added this so that it will print in the console that see it, Firebase initialization complete, just so as to tell us that initialization has been completed. So let's go ahead and dive into what we have for today. So today we are going to create I've already imported FireStore. Sorry, I don't need this. I've already imported FireStore here, but in case you've not done that, it will show error. Then put your cursor and click on the balloon and they import it from there. Final user reference equal to Firebase dot Firebase FireStore dot instance dot collection, and the collection we want to reference is users collection, and this is the user collection over here. This is what we are trying to reference. So the next thing we'll try to do is we've created this our widget which is rendering this, and down here these are our widgets which we are using, and this is our register method which we are calling for us to register a new user. And so far we are only printing to console, but we will show a pop-up dialog for it. So, and this is for our login. So what we want to do currently is, once the user account has been created successfully, we want to be able to save the user the user data inside FireStore. And to do that, what do we need to do? This is where it is being created, where it shows us whether it's created successfully or not. If it has been created successfully, what do we want to do? We want to start adding it to FireStore. So the next thing we do is user reference. That's, we are referencing that collection which we defined above, which we defined here. This is the reference, and it's referencing users which is in the database. User reference dot document. I told you we store it in document. We store data in document. Now this user ID, when an account is created, a user ID is generated, a unique ID for that user. So this is it here. So we will be using this user ID for our unique ID in FireStore, so that it will make each user unique. This is the user ID which was auto generated, but now we want to be using are the one which was used to create the new user to save the data. So what do? We call these users user dot user ID. So we want to use, you can use dot add, sorry, you can use dot, let's see, we have dot update and we have set. Update set actually replaces whatever you have in the FireStore document or FireStore collection. When you use the word set, it replaces it automatically, but update simply look for all the fields that we are referenced and then it updates it. Let's say, for instance, we use set for this and we already have a record in our FireStore database. It will automatically overwrite what is here and save it afresh. But if we are using update, it only looks for, okay, is the username, are we updating username? If yes, it will update it. And if any other thing is not referenced, it will not update it. So we use .set and then what do we want to update? We want to update the field we want to capture includes name, and we have username controller dot test dot trim. We don't want any space which might be added mistakenly, and we want to also update the email controller dot test dot trim, and then for this one we have phone. We want to put our phone controller dot test dot trim. So with this captured, we want to handle any error that might occur as a result of any error that might occur. Dot then, if it's successful, what do we want to do? For now, we will leave it as null. We will show a dialog box here. We'll add a dialog box here later on. But for now, let's just continue. Then we want to catch any error which it might show. Then with this done, the next thing is to do what? To close it up here. So what will happen is that this guy, this piece of code here, will, once it verifies that account has been created, the first thing it will do is that it will try to add these values gotten from here into our FireStore database, and we also want to display the loading image and as well as the dialog box when the user account, telling us that the user account has been created. So this is the dialog box widget which we've created. We've created a dialog box widget here, and we will import it inside. We will import it and use it in this place. So before the user registration account creation starts, we want to reference show dialog, which is our dialog, this thing we created, progress dialog, which we created here. And then the next thing we want to show is we say barrier dismissible. We put it as false. And then for our builder, we do build context, and then after this build context, open and close brackets, bracelet, and then what do we want to build? We want to return what? Our progress dialog, and the message we will be passing to it, because it needs to show a message, is registering, please wait. So this is it here. Now we want to be able to show this. Will show the progress by dialog, loading, and afterwards, when this has been done, we want to show a dialog box that will display a message that it has been registered. So what do? We want to create our dialog box here. So for that, we do all the way down, we do future void, and we say display, is it toast message? Let's just call it toast message. And we use our build context, and then the context we are referencing is the current screen which it's located, and the things we will be passing to it is our message and the title of the message. So we do message and we pass the title. Let's call it title 1 because there is a parameter called title in here. And for this, we do asynchronous, we will make it an asynchronous call, and then this. So this is what the code looks like. I'll still put it on GitHub for you to be able to use it in case you want to have it. So I do return show dialog, and I want this method to be void. So I'm going to specify void and bring this down here. And the barrier dismissible, I want the barrier not to be dismissible. Barrier dismissible false. And the build context, the builder I'm going to use here is builder context, and I call it what? Context. So the current screen is what it will be referencing. Sorry, not builder, it's build. So the next thing we are going to look at is what we want to return. We want to return an alert dialog just to show a pop-up, and we put the title. So this is the parameter I was talking about. That was why I had to put this title 1. So the thing we want to return for the title is a text, and the text, I capture it as a string. It's already a string, so I can just put this title 1. Hmm. Title 1, title 1. Okay, I'll come back to that later. Showing error. Or let's put it in a, oh, okay. It has to be a string. It has to be a string. So you put it in a quotation mark and you take that away. So the body, which is called content, we want to show a text. You can extend it by adding icon, widget, and every other thing you want to display. And I do this as MSG, so message. So this message will be gotten from what is being passed here. So the actions I want, which should be our button, is going to be a text button, and the child will be a text, and it will be okay. Or should we put close? Let's say close. So what else? What do we want to do when the user presses this button or clicks on this button? Uh, we just close the dialog. We take the dialog box away. Navigator dot of context dot pop. We want to pop it. So this is the message dialog box that we want to show. So over here, where we are printing on screen, instead of printing on screen, we'll just be showing this dialog box everywhere we have this print screen. So another thing we want to do is, since this has been registered successfully, since it has been successful, the first thing is to take away the dialog box which will be showing first. This dialog box which we will first of all render. We take it away by saying navigator uh, navigator dot pop then contests. It will pop the current context, and then instead of printing, we will still print, but then we will have to use our display toast message, and the context is already taking the context, the screen. So what message do we want to put here? We want to put a congratulations, account created, and the title is want to put success there. So for this sign up, this is what we are going to show. And if our sign up fails, what do we want to show? We want to show a different message. So I'm going to copy this instead of typing it all again and put it over here and put here. So I'm going to copy this message and put it inside our message and put it here, and then I'm going to change this to failed. So with this done now, the next thing to do is, where else do we have something like this? So imagine we are creating it, we are trying to create an account and error occurs. So we want to be able to show the dialog again, telling the user that an error occurred. So I'm going to copy this one again. This is, first of all, to close the loading button, which will be displayed over here. This loading button that will first of all be shown, and then display the message telling our user what happened. So this is the error message. So I want to display this error message to the user. I don't want to put a static text because there might be so many reasons. I will put error here just to tell you an error occurred. Now, for our login, what we need to do is, if user is able to log in for some reason, come over to this place. We'll copy this. Okay, let's copy this first. This is our success message. Or, okay, let's first of all display a message telling the user the login was successful. Login successful. Success. Then, in case it fails, we say login failed. So we put failed here. And in any case, if an error occurred, maybe internet error or maybe wrong password or something, we want to also show the user the message, the error message, and we do error MSG. This error is what we are capturing here. We are capturing the string, the error string here, and we'll say error. So with this done, we are ready to test our application. So let's first of all go over to this place, this document here. Let's should we leave it? Okay, let's leave it, and then go over to authentication and let's clear everything so we can see a fresh registration over here. So we are ready to test our application, and we hot restart. So Firebase has been initialized, and it's going to first of all show us our splash screen. We also have an onboarding page, but we don't want to, I disabled it, so we don't, it will be faster. So the username I want to use is edge, and the phone number I'll put 5555555, and then the email I'll put edge@g.com. Then for the password, let's first of all put a wrong password, or password that's not up to 6 string, and see what happens. So once I click on sign up, it says registering, please wait. So over here you can see, so we are now displaying the error message so the user can be able to read it, because the user will not be seeing this console to know what the error is. So that's why we are adding this. It says Firebase authentication weak password. Password should be at least 6 characters. Okay, let's make our password 6 characters by putting this, and then let's put a wrong email address here and see what happens. So it says the email address is badly formatted. So let's put our .com here. So this is a correct email address format. And with this, just like you see, there's no user here yet. And on our FireStore, we only have this initial document which we created, which we just put FireStore here, just for us to be able to create this collection. So back in on our page here, I'll click on sign up. It says congratulations, account created. So this account has been created. Before I close this, let's quickly go over to this place and check. You see Edge, so it has been created, and the user ID is GOM blah blah blah. So let's go over to our FireStore and see what we have there. So you see GOM blah blah blah. So these are the 3 fields which we captured, and it has been saved. So with this saved, we can now be able to call it at any time in our application and display it to our users. So over here, I click on close. So the thing it does is after registration, it takes you automatically to sign up. So let me quickly try and remove one string here, make a mistake here. I remove one string here and try to sign up. It says Firebase wrong password. The password is invalid. So the close this thing that I put, I added something that automatically crashes the screen. So let me hot reload it. So let's see where the issue is. So the thing is, we didn't put our progress dialog for this particular login. So that was why it crashed, because it went to pop another screen instead of this screen. So we copy this and go over to our login here and then add it here. So instead of registering, we will have verifying login. Please wait. So we just hot reload this and then go over to our login. So what did we use? We use edge at g.com, and let me put the wrong password and let's see what happens. So it says verifying password. It said the password is invalid or the user does not exist. So let's now put the right password, 56, and then it shows login success. Now let's try and extend this by adding another screen that we'll navigate to. We call it main screen, or let's say main page. Let's use the same naming convention, and we import material widgets, and we make it a stateful widget, and then we call it main screen. And then we are not using null checker, so we remove this, and then in our this we return child. We want to return a test. We return a test, and what do we return? We say welcome to main screen. So this is what we want to navigate to once the user login is successful. So over here in our login page, in our login method, we don't want to display this login successful anymore. We don't want to display it. Rather, we want to do navigator dot push. Okay, I don't want to use push replacement because I want to be able to go back, and then we say material page route. We put builder. We reference context, and then I bring it down here so it will. And what do I want to reference? My main screen. I put it like this and I close it here. So I need to import this because it's not, so I import it and everything seems okay. So right now, once I hot reload again and I try to log in, it comes over to our page here. So let's go back and so I can fix this. I changed this to scaffold so that it will be looking nice. I put body and I wrap this inside a container. I say wrap inside. Okay, let's use column, and I want it to be at the center. Main axis alignment, dot center. I put cross axis alignment dot center. So with this, I will now reload, and when we log in back, we'll see a nice looking screen. Welcome to the main screen. So this is the main screen. Once you're able to log in, it should take you here, and so on and so forth. So this is the end of this tutorial. In our next tutorial, we'll be looking at how to build a user profile using data from the FireStore. Thank you.